The Bible is for me.
Well, hello there.
Hey. Oh, them. Hey.
What do you say?
I didn't know you were talking to them. Whoever.
Oh. The first... Well, I'm saying hey to you now.
Oh, okay. Hey.
I'll be with just one thing. I'm really glad you're here.
They don't like the spiel.
I'm really
they don't like the shtick.
Glad that
they don't like
came
it.
Here.
I can tell they're not laughing. And who's this is a big hitting
in
question.
the house. JC.
Too soon, man.
Too soon.
R.I.P. Carmen. Miss you, bud. Who's the better sandwich maker in your household? I assume between you and your wife.
What are you trying to do here?
What?
You know the answer to this question.
I don't know the answer.
Oh, okay. Rage is the better sandwich maker.
Okay.
In this house.
You
know that with absolute
I don't know that.
Certainty.
Because I don't know how you make sandwiches.
But you do.
I've never seen you make a sandwich.
I'm just an efficiency eater, and Rach is a delicious creator of food.
Okay.
And I'm like, how quickly can I get said ingredients onto sandwich into belly, and even like looking for shortcuts along the way. Like,
you
I
like
don't know.
Flavors of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
I do. I'm not like I'm just always gonna bend that way. I've gotten better at making sandwiches, but I'm not as good as Rach. She makes. I've said this before, I think, on the podcast, that you and her are the two best sandwich makers, I think, in the game.
I don't think I remember that, but thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I found myself today, I was making just a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for my girls for their school. And I'm like, yeah, I make this better than other people. And specifically it's like functional for travel. I think through it all. Like I think through the function of the sandwich oftentimes first, and then the flavor of it. Yeah. Especially when traveling. Like the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I will put the peanut butter on both sides of the bread to act as like a bi-layer to help seal it in. And nobody, like my wife's not doing that. Those poor kids are suffering with soggy bread on one side. Yeah. I do the same thing with like tacos. I'll put when I'm making a hard shell taco, we put the cheese in the bottom and then the meat on top of that.
So the cheese melts?
So the cheese melts, but on the fold of the taco, it acts as like a glue. Oh. So that when you crunch down, it doesn't just fall apart and everything falls out the bottom.
That's the kind of stuff you guys are thinking about.
That's all the time.
I'm thinking about, if I squirt mayonnaise and mustard and I just kind of slap them together.
Gross.
I've saved myself some time.
So bad.
That's the kind of stuff I think about. And I've gotten better at making sandwiches. Like I said, I'm growing in this area. I've been on like a cooking journey for the last like probably 2 or 3 years where I couldn't cook anything. And now I'm like, I have my things. I do burgers okay.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
Your hibachi?
I do hibachi. I do.
You did the egg thing with the hibachi.
I'm getting better at French toast. Like, this is like...
That's a wild one.
And I'm a guy, and I want to say this. Like, I made... One day, Rach was subbing, and I made everybody's lunch. You make lunches. And she brings the lunch in, and some of the teachers there, some of the other women... They're like, oh, you got everyone out the door and you made yourself lunch, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh no, Aunt made the sandwiches today. And there was multiple, she said, that were like, oh, my husband would never.
Come on, guys.
Couldn't possibly.
Step up, guys.
And that's what I want to say. Like, if you can't make an edible sandwich for your family, that's a problem. That's an issue. Like, get better.
Be better.
You don't have to. It's okay to be like, I'm freely going to admit, I'm never going to be a better cook than Rach is.
Right.
But I got to be a backup quarterback that can handle 2 drives and the team's not falling apart because my quarterback, he had to go into the blue booth or the blue tent for a minute. He comes out and he's like, what the heck did you do? You have to be able to handle 2. You got to be able to game manage for 2 drives.
Agreed. Just in case he has to poop.
He might have to go to the bathroom. It might be a very innocuous reason. And you've got to... You're the backup quarterback in this area. That's a real message.
So think through your sandwiches, Aunt. I need you. You got to be better than Rach at that.
Is a burger a sandwich?
Hard. No.
Well, I thought I was gonna have a little ground there. Welcome to the Bible is Funny podcast. My name is Anthony, and that's Tim. It is the year of our Lord 2026. We are continuing today through the book of Leviticus. Mm-hmm. This podcast brought to you by Levi Jeans, dungarees. Is that right? Is that what they're doing?
You got me. I haven't worn Levi's jeans in a minute.
They're not really a sponsor.
I'm open to it. Do they have the stretchy ones?
Yeah.
That's the only jeans I wear now.
Loosey fit in there, guys.
It's not about like me putting on weight. It's about me wanting to take action. What if I have to kick someone?
That's right.
What if I gotta run somewhere?
That's right.
What if I gotta like do some squats?
That's right. One day, while we are still alive, skinny jeans are gonna come back. And that's gonna be a bummer.
But skinny jeans, you can still have skinny jeans that stretch. They're great.
I'm liking where we are now with
I think
jeans.
they're called jeggings at that point.
That's what I'm saying. And it's gonna come back around.
I'm fine with it.
Today we are covering Leviticus 8 through 14 on our journey through the Bible.
They may not remember that we're not doing 2 chapters at a time.
We're doing
right now.
more than 2 chapters at a time. We will not be reading every single word from these chapters. What we're going to be doing in Leviticus 8 through 14 is highlighting the moments you should be zooming in on for comedic purposes, which brings me to an important point. I personally don't know what I'm talking about. Tim,
amen to that.
Do you know what you're talking about when it comes to the Bible? You're pretty good at...
Yeah, when I talk about something, I know what I'm saying.
Yes.
But as far as the subject of the Bible goes,
right.
and trying to extract some sort of deeper meaning, I don't listen to me with that. I'm going to make some stuff up that's not real.
Correct.
And shouldn't be followed. Unless you want to be in my cult, and I would welcome you. I hear cult leaders make a good amount of money. But other than that, I don't.
I feel like you would keep a really tight cult. Like, I don't think you'd let your cult get too big.
No,
I don't think you want to deal with that many people.
I think 11 max.
12 is just, that's too many.
I'll be the 12th one.
Maybe that's where Jesus kind of messed that up, is the 12th one was the bad one.
That's the one
the
that...
takeaway.
I mean, obviously.
Should have went with 11.
Mm-hmm. He'd still be alive today, if not.
That's a great case in point as to how you should not take anything you're about to hear seriously. Which brings us to Leviticus chapter 8. I'm going to jump in here.
We left off Leviticus 1 through 7. Just a bunch of rules for how to do sacrifices and offerings. A lot of different things you might need to atone for.
That's right.
Or repent of. A lot of ways to kill innocent animals and how to spread their blood on other people and other animals and fling it onto the furniture.
I am confident every single thing in there has just a really significant theological meaning.
Sure.
And I bet you can find that from somebody. Again, not from here.
And there's a lot of that in these. That's Leviticus. There's a lot of that, and so we're sifting through some of that repetitive stuff that just keeps coming over and over and over, and we even covered in previous chapters. Maybe even in Exodus we covered.
Yeah, end of Exodus.
So we're going to skip over that stuff because you already read it.
Instead of reading you multiple times the correct way to kill a bull, we're going to just talk about the highlights from this
how many times do we need to hear you rip the wings in half but not completely disembowel the bird, and then you take the lobe of the liver and you stick it to your vision board for the year.
It does ring a little bit maybe like a coach who's like, how many times I gotta say it, guys? This is how you sacrifice a bull. It's up on the whiteboard every day when they show up to the locker room.
Not white anymore. It's very bloody.
That's white. Leviticus 8. The first things that jumped out in me were in the verse 20s.
Yeah, Leviticus 8 covers the ordination of priests.
Yeah, right.
You had the 20s. I started verse 3 starts and they gather. Oh wait, sorry. I skipped ahead.
You
said you were jumping in the 20s.
That was the first kind of place I want to start, but it's good to set the tone. What's happening is Moses is ordaining Aaron and his sons.
Right. And in like verse 15, Moses slaughtered the bull and took some of the blood and with his finger put it on the horns of the altar to purify the altar. He poured the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. He consecrated it. Moses took all the fat around the organs, the long lobe of the liver, both kidneys and their fat, and burned it on the altar. So this is what these chapters kind of sound like.
Right. And we can definitely start here with my first kind of general thought on this part of the Bible is just the image of a whole assembly of people coming together to watch Moses do all this.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, as maybe I am, when you go to church, what you expect to see. And it's some singing and it's some like kind of, it's a bit of a, it's meant to be presented. And there's some thought to like how everything like on the platform is going to happen. If you go to a more liturgical church, I didn't grow up in that, but I've been to several services. They have some business they attend to where their backs are to the audience because they have to turn and get something. Sometimes they have assistants that come in. That is maybe a little closer to this, but not quite. You gathering with all your friends and family to watch an animal be slaughtered and its innards sort of dispersed correctly. And it just led me to wonder, how is Moses going about this work in front of an audience? Like on a couple of levels. Like one, is it sort of like all business?
Do they have a children's church version of this?
It's like a stuffed cow.
Like pull the entrails out of the stuffed cow. Take the stuffing.
Oh, that's so true. Is it a little bit of a panache to it? Is it a little bit of like, a little magic trick to the entrails coming out of like, nothing here? You're doing it in front of a group. There's an audience gathered.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you really have to be maybe too showy about it. It's not like they had anywhere else to go.
Oh, yeah.
What else was their entertainment?
Right, but Moses strikes me as a guy who's going to try to give the people a show.
That's why he did the water thing the way he did. That's why he did it with the snake and the staff.
Just trying to, I don't know.
He did want to be a magician.
He was up against, maybe the magicians influenced him a little bit.
Possibly.
Anyway, a group of people gathered to, as Tim pointed out, Moses is taking out the fat around the internal organs and the long lobe of the liver and both kidneys. And there's just a group gathered to kind of watch him as he goes about this work. That's my first thought from Leviticus 8 that I wanted to share with you. Verse 22 did kind of strike me. There's a whole bit of a sacrifice for a ram. There's, again, this is one of those detail things that go on about the specific way that you do this and why you do this. And I'm sure it is really important. But in verse 22, it says, he then presented the other ram, the ram for the ordination, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on its head, and Moses slaughters the ram and took some of its blood and puts it on the lobe of Aaron's ear. And I just thought, if you're a ram and you have any sort of sense of like what's going on, you're like, oh, they already killed a ram, so I'm probably okay. Like there was a bull, they killed the bull, and that's like it. They don't go killing all the bulls.
Can't kill all the bulls.
That would seem silly. So you're there with your ram, and you're both like, oh man, I hope doesn't go. And they're like, no, Jeffrey. And then you're like, but I mean, at least I get to go home to my friends now. And then they're like, what are you going to kill 2 rams for? There's already 1.
Make it 3. In that verse that like Moses took the ram and some of his blood and put it on the lobe of Aaron's right ear and the thumb of his right hand and on the big toe of his right foot.
Yeah.
Like it just sort of seems like Moses might be a little OCD at this point. Like, I got to do this. Here's my routine. And tap, 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 and light on, light off, light on, light off, light on. And the candle, and blow out the candle, and light the candle, blow out the candle, and on the lobe, and go. Yeah. And now he can sleep at night without thinking that the oven's on.
Yes. The lobe of the ear and the toe, definitely a funny insight. I accidentally did a little research.
Oh.
Apologies. Moses is estimated to be over 80 years old at this point. And why I thought that was interesting is that he's not going to get down to Aaron's toes. So Aaron's going to have to get his toe up to Moses. And so, again, group gathered, and Aaron's got to, oh, here, let me.
I mean, Aaron's not a young chap at this point either.
Right. So two old guys up there trying to put blood on the other's toes. Just had to be something to see. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Anything else from Leviticus 8 before we go to 9?
Yeah. Moses, verse 30, Moses took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood from the altar and sprinkled them on Aaron and his garments, and on his sons and their garments. So he consecrated Aaron and his garments and his sons and their garments. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, it's funny because I can imagine, like you said, people watching this thing and like watching this whole process and like Moses maybe kind of having a good time with it. Like, this is kind of fun. Because I remember my dad, he would kill a deer. We'd go hunting and kill a deer. And that guy had the most jokes while he's like cutting the skin off the deer and cutting the liver out and like, what's good up? Oh, there it all fell out. Kind of whistle while you work mentality. Yeah, he loved it.
Yeah, maybe it's like he's like all in there, and then he's like, oh boy, how's this? Hachoo! He sprinkles blood all over him. It's just a gag. It's just a bit.
Verse 36 ends this chapter and it says, Aaron and his sons did everything that God commanded by Moses. And I love that footnote. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if that's for posterity's sake. I don't know if that was Moses kind of saying, none of this was my idea. Right. Just as a note, I did what God wanted me to do. Or if it's a reminder to God to be like, hey, by the way, don't forget I did what you... Because God's getting older too. Maybe God's memory is fading a little bit. Just a little. Just remember, I did what you asked me to do.
Yeah, Aaron did it. Aaron did all of it. Mm-hmm. He did everything he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. That's what I sometimes. And maybe there's. I don't know. I resonate with that at the end of the chapter. Sometimes I do that at the end of a day because you get to the end of the day. Here's what I'm going to say about that. You get to the end of the day and you're like, I had so much I got to do tomorrow and so much I didn't get done. And sometimes you need to say to yourself and maybe to God, I did everything I was supposed to do today. I went to work. I just took care. I cleaned up a little bit. I did everything I was supposed to do today. Mm-hmm. And don't beat yourself up about what you didn't do today.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Very good.
A little takeaway.
Leviticus 9, the priests go to work. This is the title, at least according to the Message. So I read the Message version because it's easier to read. It's basically a kid's Bible without the pictures. But
I bet you bought.
You read the other one. I need to see the concept. But it starts out and says, "Tell the people of Israel, take a male goat for an absolution offering, and a calf and a lamb, both yearlings without defect, for a whole burnt offering, and a bull and a ram for a peace offering to be sacrificed before God, with a grain offering mixed with oil, because God will appear to you today." And I just thought, considering the fact that, like Moses was saying this, he was the one who called in Aaron and his sons, and he said to do all these offerings. Right. Considering the fact that these guys ended up eating these sacrifices and offerings as their own meal, do you think it was like more of a meal request by Moses? Like,
oh, I see. Like,
yeah, we're gonna do a cow meat sacrifice, and then we're gonna do a grain sacrifice to go with, like, kind of on the side, and maybe like a potato sacrifice, just some sort of starch, and maybe a bottle of Pinot Noir to sacrifice. Something, I don't know, like maybe 2300 BC. Yeah, that was a pretty good year. We'll just have a wine. Some sort of wine sacrifice. We should probably have a wine sacrifice. It's an offering. It's a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. It's different. It's not. This isn't a meal. This is a sacrifice.
Right.
Yeah. But we got to sacrifice the wine for this particular day because you were going to absolve somebody of something.
Here's what I'll say. There are like the amount that the stuff was seasoned in the previous part of Leviticus is like. And we're talking about eating it. People are eating it.
But you can't just eat a steak on its own.
You're talking about...
You got to have something to go. We got to have a little French fry, a little au jus to dip it or something.
Yeah. What kind of barbarians are we without au jus?
No, this is for God. This isn't for me.
There's definitely... Yeah. Well, it's a chicken egg principle. Or is it God saying, like, listen, you guys are going to be coming up to them with your skin diseases and whatnot. We need to make sure that they're fed well. Okay. So we got to bring them decent food because there's different parts. I talk about the birds and they're always getting the breast and the thighs. Like, and if you're someone who eats chicken like I do, let's do pretty good parts of the chicken.
They are pretty good parts of the chicken.
I thought I was going to tell you something else about that. Yeah, well, I lost it. Here's what I had from 9. Mine was, I think you had another one before me too. I was down at 23. That's when I came back in.
Yeah.
Well, this is Moses and Aaron. They go into the tent of meeting. This is verse 23 of chapter 9. In verse 24, fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed the burnt offering and the fat portions of the altar. So they've done all these steps. They've done this all properly, and they've got this all set up. And then they're going out to kind of bless the people. That's what 23 says. When they came out, they blessed the people, and the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people. Fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed the burnt offering and the fat portions on the altar. And when all the people saw it, they shouted for joy and fell face down. And I just feel like this is an underreported scene from the Bible to have because again, I'm thinking practically, there's someone in the audience who's like, what are we doing here with this? Why are you putting stuff on his toes? What is happening right now? Mm-hmm. But then
big finale comes
they're like, all right, let's go shake some hands. Whoosh, fire bursts out behind them as they sort of strut out to the temple courts and go, hi, I'm Aaron. I'm the new priest.
Yeah. Very, very much vibes of evangelical magician for sure. I'm here for it.
First you're pulling the lobe.
Have we coined the term evangetainment yet? Because that's what I'm thinking. Entertainment for evangelism. Evangetainment. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I just did it.
Yeah. Trademarked. That's what I got from Leviticus chapter 9.
All right.
You got anything else?
No. Leviticus 10 is Nadab and Abihu. It's all about them.
Yeah. Nadab about it. Aaron's sons. They are the sons of Aaron.
Yeah. So I'm sure they're going to live forever. Let's see how it goes.
First one. This was my favorite chapter from this run, if I may. And I did mess around and learn something.
Oh,
Spoiler alert.
Don't do that.
Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu, took their censers, put fire in them, and added incense. And they offered unauthorized fire before the Lord, contrary to his command. So fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed them, and they died before the Lord. It's verse 1 and 2. If you grew up in Sunday school like I did, which I know not everybody did, this was a story sometimes referred to as strange fire in this, the KJV version of this. That's what I was going to say earlier. And I do think it's worth saying. It's very funny to me that you read from the Message in Leviticus. It's like Leviticus is supposed to be read in King James. It is a tall order to be like tasking the good people from the Message translation to be like, a lot of this is like just barely we're wrapping our head around it, and I need you to put it in like cool English terms. It's like, I think it needs to be read in KJV.
I don't know. I think yes, some of it for sure. This like offered strange fire to God. That's what it says in here. But I do like. You put it in real context here. Yeah, all he did was put some blood on the lobes of his feet. Like this is, took part of the liver. This I need this spelled out a little bit more clearly, so I'm not wondering what on earth they're doing.
See, I'm the other.
It doesn't help me either way.
I needed to remain.
This is why we're a team. This is why
to remain Old English.
We attack from all sides.
Back to where we were though. Nadab and Abihu. So they take their censer, they put fire in, they add incense, and this is how I always heard the story. Is like sons of Aaron. And they did it. There was very clear steps. They got the steps wrong. And they immediately killed.
Yeah.
Dead. Because they got a step wrong.
What a great way to feel about God.
Right. Uh-huh. And you're a kid hearing the story. I was. And you're like, oh my gosh. Like, okay, I gotta. This is why I'm doing the salvation prayer every single night. Because I'm like, just in case yesterday's was not said correctly.
In case I used the wrong incense and swung it the wrong way.
So this is the story. Jump in if you have something else. I'm reading this, though, today for these purposes, and I'm just, like, diving into the chapter. And I get to verse 8. It's very odd.
Oh, okay.
Because there's some things in there for the narrative of the story. like Aaron is told kind of like not to mourn a specific, like he's not allowed to like visibly mourn. He's also like sort of on duty, and he's not given the rest of the day off. Which all seems very hard.
Yeah, I'll cover that. Right.
So there's different things going on. I want to stick on Nadab and Abihu because I'm reading again. This is where I accidentally learned something. I get to verse 8. Then the Lord said to Aaron, you and your sons are not to drink wine or other fermented drink whenever you go into the tent of meeting, or you will die. And again, I almost wish I would have read the whole chapter to you just now, because when you read the whole chapter, you're like, oh, they did the fire wrong, and then they got killed. And then you get a couple verses down, and you get the Lord talking to Aaron and being like, yeah, you guys can't drink wine or other fermented drink, whether you go in the tent of meeting or you will die, which is what just happened earlier in the chapter.
Right.
So I'm reading it, and for the first time ever, I'm going like, I think those kids were drunk. I think those 2 kids were drunk. That's the way that's reading to me. And I'm like, that's really curious. I never thought that before. I was never presented as any part of the story when I first heard it. Quick search on the Googles tells me this is like a commonly held Christian traditional thought that why else would we be throwing 2 random verses about alcohol not being done while you are on duty as a priest, unless... So there's like people that have written in, like, obviously the Bible's been around a long time. It's been discussed. Like, this is not a new, what I'm saying is I had that thought reading it this time, and I was shocked to find that's actually not one of my wild and crazy Bible's funny thoughts. It was like, no, other people have read and felt the same way. Like, oh yeah, why else would there be a tossed in, don't be drinking on the job or you'll die. Lo and behold, a couple of verses earlier, 2 guys died.
I mean, there's a lot of weird crap that says don't do this or you'll die. I'm not necessarily buying that as a theory. But again, we're not here to learn.
We're not here to learn.
I would say if we're going to go that route, I think maybe they drank so much that they were potent. Like their breath was, and then they were just soaked in alcohol, if that's the case. Yeah. And then God just meant to give them just a little fire as like a scare.
Wow.
But then just a little fire came out and they exploded because they were
too soaked in
too soaked in booze.
That would be strange fire.
And then God was like, hey, by the way, just don't drink too much, because if I have to punish you with like a little fire spanking, then you're gonna explode. You're gonna be
okay. You lost me at fire spanking, but
I usually do.
I see. I kind of see what you're saying. I just like
God didn't mean to blow them up, but they were so intoxicated. They were a powder keg.
And I'm almost wondering, like, they're dealing with fire. They could have been
that too.
They could have been flammable.
My take. So I read verse 3, and verse 3 immediately after these kids die, they're consumed.
Yeah,
kids. They're just
around.
His sons.
Yeah. We're saying kids because they're offspring. I didn't look up their age.
They're Aaron's. Yeah, I'm sure they're not 5 years old as priests in the thing. Moses. So God torched these kids. Moses said to Aaron, "This is what God meant when He said, 'To the one who comes near me, I will show myself holy.'" By the way, Aaron's kids just died. Just violent, terrible death right in front of everyone. "To the one who comes near me, I will show myself holy. Before all the people, I will show my glory." Aaron was silent. That's the and then Aaron was silent as Moses came to him and said, "Well, this is why God torched your kids and lit them on fire."
Right.
It might be he might have just been silent because his kids were just consumed by fire very violently to their immediate death. I don't know. Maybe that's why.
Could be.
And then it follows 6 and 7 says, Moses then said to Aaron and his remaining sons, Eleazar and Ithamar, "No mourning rituals for you, unkempt hair, torn clothes, or you'll also die, and God will be angry with the whole congregation. Your relatives, all the people of Israel, in fact, will do the mourning over those God has destroyed by fire. And don't leave the entrance to the tent of meeting, lest you die, because God's anointing oil is on you." Then they did just as Moses said. Yeah, of course they did. They just watched their brothers get consumed by fire.
Yeah. Right. You do wonder if how much the dangers of the job they took in the previous chapter. Everything's all fun and games.
Right, you get a free meal, you get some dove, cooked over with some sprinkled stuff, and you're dead.
And they're walking away from the fire going like, no, the fire's good, the fire's on our team. And then day one on the job, they're like, okay, so the fire goes a couple ways when you're on the job. There's an immediate crash course for them.
Verses 18 and 19. So essentially, there's a little bit of a backstory. So there's this mix-up, and then essentially the remaining sons burnt a food, these two, Ithamar, like they burnt food that they weren't supposed to.
Right.
And Moses basically came in and said, "What the heck is wrong with you?" to them, gives them a little scolding. Who's to the boys whose brothers carcasses just got torched by God. By the way, maybe they weren't thinking straight. And Aaron replied to Moses after Moses gives them a tongue lashing. Aaron replied to Moses, "Look, they sacrificed their absolution offering and whole burnt offering before God today, and you see what has happened to me. I've lost 2 sons. Do you think God would have been pleased if I had gone ahead and eaten the absolution offering today?" That's what the argument was about. And then Moses heard this response, and he accepted it.
He was satisfied.
Like, I wonder if Moses maybe realized in that moment that the big boss hadn't torched these kids already, that God didn't kill them.
Right.
And then he went, yeah, it's good with me too. It's fine.
Right.
It's fine. Because if God doesn't make them burnt pieces of toast,
right.
Why would you at that point?
Which again, in my reading of the story, and I can't stress enough how you shouldn't take any of this seriously. In my reading of the story, you have like this segment in the middle, which is like giving this insight into a part of the story. Because you have at the top of the story 2 of the newly anointed priests doing something wrong. At the bottom of the story, you have 2 of the newly appointed priests doing something wrong. One of the groups is torched immediately. The other group is not. And it's like you say, it's like, okay, you didn't do that part right.
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, it leaves you with like, oh, okay, so I guess God is super harsh and sometimes, and then other times not so harsh. But then I'm like, it's just one of those kind of incomplete stories when you forget that right dag nab in the middle, you get a little insight as to like potentially 2 of them were wasted on the job.
Yeah, but why can't God just give them a really nasty hangover? You learn your lesson when that happens. Not that I would know personally. I've had acquaintances that I went to college with that were not me. They were. Yeah. I didn't even know them that well.
You had a hangover, but you were holding it for your friend.
I read. Yes.
It was your friend's hangover. It wasn't yours.
And it hurt my head, and I didn't want to wake up. And I just said, "I'm not doing this again."
I'm not doing this where I try to pretend to understand the universal mysteries. I'm just talking about a text that I think we often overlook, and You've got a little blip here right in the middle that's like, hey, man, don't be drinking when you're in there.
I think you're just trying to be fundamental once again. You're trying to go back to your roots. You're trying to get there, man.
It's a smart thing if you're dealing with fire to not be too drunk when you do it.
That's fair.
That's the takeaway.
I also just don't think that your boss should kill you if you do something wrong.
I don't know the ins and the outs of the handbook.
All right, Leviticus 11.
We're on to 11.
Now we're on to foods. This is information about foods.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a little intro so everybody can hear kind of what the chapter sounds like.
Right.
I may not comment on these, but so it starts verse 3 through 8, for example. You may eat any animal that has a split hoof divided in 2 that chews the cud, but not any animal that only chews the cud or only has a split hoof.
That's hard to track. Are there examples?
For instance, the camel chews the cud, but doesn't have a split hoof, so it's unclean. The rock badger chews the cud, but doesn't have a split hoof, and so it's unclean. The rabbit chews the cud, which I didn't know, but doesn't have a split hoof, so it is unclean. The pig has a split hoof divided in 2, but doesn't chew the cud, and so it is unclean. And then later on, among the creatures that live in the water or of the seas and streams, you may eat any that have fins and scales, but anything that doesn't have fins and scales, whether in seas or streams, whether small creatures in the shallows or huge creatures in the deeps, you are to detest. Yes, detest them. emphasis added. Don't eat their meat. Detest their carcasses, which is pretty big.
Yeah.
It's not cool. It's God's creation. I don't want to detest God's creation. Anything living in the water
Just
that
their
doesn't
carcasses.
have fins and scales is detestable to you.
Yeah.
Then these are the birds you are to detest. Don't eat them. They are detestable. Eagle, vulture, osprey, kite, all falcons, all ravens, ostrich, nighthawk, seagull, all hawks, owl, cormorant, ibis, water hen, pelican, Egyptian vulture, which is not to be confused with the vulture that was already named before, the stork, herons, the hoopie, and of course, the bat.
The bat.
Yeah. Don't eat the bird, the bat bird.
Don't eat the bat bird. Was that the message? Is everything you're reading from the message?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's great.
I'm not doing multiple I'm not reading them all.
I just didn't know if you were switching. Yes. I think what is interesting to me is that I know for a fact that in the children's church they came up with songs for these, and that's how everybody remembered. They were like, there's the like real book you can read. Moses has it. It's in his office. But, down here where we do the goldfish and the Cheez-Its, we have, ours goes, if it's got fish and scales, it is for sales. Don't buy anything else.
What?
And then you get these people going down by the water.
That's
and like,
not real.
Wait, what are we supposed to eat? And then they're like, well, I guess I haven't been to Moses to read the book, but I think it's like, yeah, it's got fish and scales. Like, that's how everybody memorizes what I'm saying.
I thought you were saying that really was. And I wouldn't put it past any of our evangelical upbringing to do some crap like that.
I promise you that was, it came into a song.
Yeah.
Right. If it's got a split hoof,
you must stay aloof.
Because, yeah. I wish if my, like, doctor gave me advice like this, that was kind of a puzzle to solve, I think I'd be more into his diet advice.
You'd have to have a doctor first.
I would. I think when I was getting my physicals in high school, that's the one I still put down as my primary.
You have to.
That's what I was thinking when I said it.
Gulf Coast Pediatrics. That's sorry, sir. You're pushing 40, man.
They're like, your doctor died. He's no longer practicing. No one knows you. You had a paper file. We weren't even doing the digital ones yet.
But I like the lollipop afterward.
Yeah, I think we should give nutritional advice via kind of a coded, like you could be like, hey man, you gotta get 8 hours of sleep. And I'm like, you're not the boss of me. But if you're like, the primary amount of sleep someone your age should get should be below 10 and above 7, but below 9. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go home and solve this riddle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're too straight up with the nutrition advice.
Yeah.
You gotta make it kind of
because if you can solve the puzzle, then you're emotionally ready to make that decision.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Now I'm committed. Now I'm watching a cow going like, what's this blue? In the cut? Yes. Eat that sucker right now. We're gonna eat that right now.
Slaughter the thing. How do you? I mean, I guess the next question is, watching an animal chew its cud. How do you know? How do you know that that's what they're doing?
Well,
does it look like gum chewing? Like,
and I was not clear on what cud is.
Oh, come on! It's like a spit kind of, but you're just chewing it.
You chew that.
I think it's like gum.
I thought it was like grass. I thought it was like.
Oh man.
I think I was confusing cud and crud. I kind of eat the crud on the ground.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Promise you will not learn anything.
Didn't say it already.
You might learn how dumb Anthony is.
Yeah, because I was honestly reading this, going like, "Do we eat horses? Is that what
I don't know. I know cows chew their cud.
Horses didn't fit the bill.
No, so you can eat one.
No, you cannot.
Oh, under these rules. I forgot the rhyme.
If it is a little horse, don't eat it, of course. Here was mine from the animal chapter. This is, I think, a good policy we should keep today. This is from Leviticus 11, verse 29.
Eat up your bud that chooses cud. Sorry, just had to finish your song.
Of the animals that move around the ground, these are unclean for you. You know, the weasel, the rat. In later in verse 33, it says, if one of them falls into a clay pot, everything in it will be unclean, and you must break the pot. And initially, because they list more animals than the rat, I cut it off at the rat because that's the important animal to me in this conversation. But I was like, oh, you got to break a pot. I mean, I feel like if something falls in your pot, you just wash it, right? But then I'm like, no, if a rat falls into a pot, destroy the pot.
Burn the house down.
No thrift store.
No
nothing for that pot.
Yeah.
It is out of commission.
It's time to move to the promised land.
Here on out. If a rat falls into a pot. Also in verse 16, in the NIV, I just felt like this read a little bit like Bubba from Forrest Gump as they described the birds you weren't allowed to eat. You're not allowed to eat the horned owl, screech owl, the little owl, the great owl, the white owl, the desert owl.
Are there owls you're allowed to eat?
Well, I think the message just kind of was like, hey, don't eat the owls.
Yeah, but they went and said, hey, don't eat the vulture or the Egyptian vulture, which evidently...
Right.
Maybe one of those is an Egyptian vulture. Maybe that's like the white owl.
Oh, yeah, could be.
We're not going to look it up.
I don't know.
Nobody cares.
Again, that part was too descriptive for me.
Yeah.
I'm resisting that as soon as you're rattling off the animal. Give me a little puzzle to solve. They got 2 talons and kind eyes. You may eat that bird. That's the kind of nutrition advice I want.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Are we ready to move on?
Well, the other note I had was just that needs to be said is that the bat is in fact not a bird.
Yeah.
But I think,
they couldn't have known
message
back
received.
then. How would they know it had warm blood?
Sometimes I feel like we're splitting hairs and we shouldn't be. Because the bat flies around.
It's close enough.
Call it a bird. It's a little bit of the ball down at the half-yard line to me.
Right.
It's a touchdown.
Just call it.
We're not... You're telling me, oh, yeah, a cow and a bat, we're talking about the same creature?
Right.
Get out of my face.
Right. Oh, it's a whale. It's swimming. It's not a fish. It swims in the water.
Dude.
It's a freaking fish.
100%. I have to look at my kids and say this. You see a dolphin and a shark, see how it goes? Not at all similar. One's a fish.
One has a fin on the top. Well, the other one, okay, that has a fin.
One's a mammal.
The other's fin on the back is sideways. So that's why they're drastically
They should
different.
have nothing to do with each other.
Oh, wait, one has, I guess they both have teeth. They're both pretty great. All right, but they're different.
Leviticus 12.
Leviticus 12 is about childbirth, Anthony. You know everything about childbirth.
Finally. You never want to talk about it. I always want to talk about it.
It's childbirth, but it's about women and
childbirth. You got real British for a sec. It's childbirth.
Fair enough. It's like ritualistic cleanliness of like women and kids and whatever. Anyway, go on.
Leviticus 12. For me, it was right at the beginning. Verse 2: Say to the Israelites, a woman who becomes pregnant and gives birth to a son will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days, just as she is unclean during her monthly period. There was a later one about like a woman giving birth to a son and giving birth to a daughter, and the periods of unclean she would be. And unclean, I'm not putting unclean in quotes because it is what it says, but the practicality of that is like, hey, you're not allowed in like the temple area where all these people gather. You're not allowed here or there or whatever. And I thought, at first kind of like read, you're like, it seems like, I don't know. I'm a non confrontational guy. I don't like using the word unclean really at all because it just seems harsh. But then when I thought about this practically, and I'm like, if a woman just gave birth, and you're like, hey, you're not allowed to be around big groups of people. Everyone's got to kind of leave you alone wherever you are. Like, no one's allowed to bother you.
She's going to be like, oh, man.
I feel like little bit of like, yeah, all right, I'll be unclean.
If that were the case, my wife would be like, I just gave birth last week for the rest of her life. I can't be around anyone.
You're ready to party? Oh, I can't. I just gave birth.
I'm so tired from giving birth. Also, God said.
I know. He looks like he's 18 years old, but it was really the long labor.
This is, I think the chapter is funny, and it's not. I think there's some like I don't know. I'm not going to say there's misogyny involved, but like the Bible favors men, generally speaking, because there's a lot of it was written by men. I don't want to get into that, but I do want to name it. I think it's out there. Comically, I think it's funny that there are all sorts of rules about women and their lack of cleanliness and when they're ritually unclean. Like, have you guys ever met boys before? Like, forget ritually unclean. They're just straight up unclean. And you're like, well, but they can be around all the people. No. Right. Give me the women. I don't. Yeah. Any version of a woman is going to be cleaner than the boys. Mm-hmm. Hands down. Anytime.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's just facts. Mm-hmm. If you've ever been inside of a woman in a male restroom, that to me is just always like the case is closed. I have a little bit of an argument there, but yeah. Against public male and female restrooms?
Yeah. Because women, if here's the facts, because I used to do that kind of work. My theory is that women don't want to pick up the trash that's on the ground.
Like some facilities work. I would like to clarify the kind of work.
Don't worry about what I did. Listen, I'm just saying I've been there. I've been inside. The women's bathrooms are often messier than the men's. Very often.
I'll take your word.
And my theory is because they know not to touch the crap that's on the ground and pick it up. And if they drop it, they're like, it's a bathroom and leave it alone. Which is why they themselves stay cleaner than the boys who go, oh, I'll pick that up. Sure, I'll help out. And then they throw it in the trash can. And then they don't wash their hands and then they're sick for 6 weeks.
But the bathrooms I'm going in, the guys aren't doing that at all.
Well, I'm just saying.
And I'm curious. I have had many times, and nobody came here to hear about public restrooms, but I walk in and I'm like, what has happened in here, fellow man?
Well.
And I don't want to know.
No.
That's the one thing I'm sure of is I don't want to know. You have anything else from 12?
No. Leviticus chapter 13 is about infections.
Sure is.
Sure is. So to start this out, well, I'll get to it. So the intro says, God spoke to Moses and Aaron, when somebody has a swelling or a blister or a shiny spot on the skin that might signal a serious skin disease on the body, bring him to Aaron the priest or to one of his priest sons. The priest will examine the sore. Mm-hmm. If the hair in the sore has turned white and the sore appears more than skin deep, it is a serious skin disease and infectious. After the priest has examined it, he will pronounce the person unclean. So that's just an example of what the rest of this chapter looks like. Yeah. This chapter is basically a nurse's field guide to dermatology.
Right.
Like, if the boil has pus in it, wash it with water and don't let anybody get close, etc. So going verse 29 through 37 starts off with, if a man or a woman develops a sore on the head or chin, the priest will offer a diagnosis. If it looks as if it is under the skin and the hair is yellow and thin, he will pronounce the person ritually unclean. Like, the descriptor of what they were looking at is foul.
Foul.
Just disgusting.
Again, I can't help, as we did this section, that sort of like initiation of them becoming priests. How much did they know? Hey, tomorrow you might be killed by fire bursting out because of, like, as a punishment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the day after that, everybody's weird skin issue is going to be brought to you for, there's a part even later on where they say, verse 45, anyone with such a defiling disease must wear torn clothes, let their hair be unkempt, cover the lower part of their face and cry out, unclean, unclean. As long as they have the disease, they remain unclean. They must live alone. They must live outside the camp. Who tells them that they have this disease? The priest. Mm-hmm. So by logic, we're like, okay, the people who, like, the immediate thing we need to do is we need to send them as far away from people as possible. Like, they cannot be close to anyone because what they have is really dangerous and infectious and could kill everyone. But before they get to that point, I need you to really get up in there and see if the hair has turned white.
See how deep it is. It below the dermis?
Like, what?
Is it white or is it pussy? Is it yellow? Check and make sure it's yellow and not white.
Why do I have have to do that?
Because you're the priest, of course.
You're the priest, obviously.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anybody saying preachers and pastors and priests nowadays have a hard time. Like
that's what I was thinking.
Y'all have it easy. I don't want to hear about your sabbaticals that you need 4 months for. Okay. There's a lot of crazy political stuff going on. I get it.
Yeah, sure.
But you're not looking at pussy arms and like nasty boils on people's heads.
Right,
okay?
right.
You're not. So
I'm glad you brought up what's going on.
Just take the weekend.
I'm glad you brought up what's going on people's heads. That is, gosh, so funny though. I became a priest because I like to do sermons. What's this? Because last week you said it might be the death of me, and I needed to do a follow-up. Is it worse? Top of people's head. It's a very sensitive issue for me. As Leviticus 13, chapter 40. A man who has lost his hair and is bald is clean.
That's right. You can eat them. Oh,
you can't eat them.
I thought this said
unless they have split hoof.
He's a split hoof,
and they have a split.
If he has a split hoof and bald head, then he's ritually clean.
If he's bald up top, you can eat him right up. Verse 41. If he has lost his hair from the front of his scalp and has a bald forehead, he is clean.
Yeah, I mean, where do you think Mr. Clean got his name? This is it. This is here. He's clean. He's bald.
I just hate this. I hate that this, for bald people of this time, me as a bald man myself.
I like that you could be a bald man but have a nasty mustache. I mean, you're still clean.
Yeah, true that.
Case in point.
Bald men are... that this is in question is what's scary. It's like, which at the same time, it was kind of funny to me because I was like, I wonder, you're not writing down everything at this point, maybe. Like, I wonder the first person to go bald, that had to be kind of a horrifying experience. Like, everybody's got this. And you wake up one day and you're like, where did mine go? What happened to me? And everybody's like, oh, what happened to you? Like, maybe you'll be dead in the morning. Who knows?
You're clean.
And then it has to be said here, like, hey guys, it's okay. Everything's okay. The priest is verse 42. But if he has a reddish white sore on his bald head or forehead, it's a defiling disease breaking out on his head or forehead. The priest is to examine him. And if the swollen sore on the head or forehead is reddish white, like a defiling skin disease, the man is diseased. It is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him unclean because of the sore on his head. And it's the reddish white because when you become bald, hopefully you have a bald person in your life who can kind of walk you through the journey. You do. People are like, oh, you wear a hat all the time because you don't want anybody to know you're bald. It's kind of true. You also sunburn now. Yeah. You direct sun exposure to this part of your skin.
And any direct hit from that just hurts.
It's bad. Uh-huh. And so when they were like, yeah, if they're bald and they've got like a reddish white, and you're like, no, it's a sunburn. I swear.
My turban's only SPF 15. Right. What the heck?
I went for a swim. I wasn't thinking. I just was like, that'd be an issue. That you're bald, you got a sunburn, you're constantly trying to not be outcast with the lepers all your life.
I think this chapter is funny. You mentioned it before, the yelling of unclean. If you're unclean, you have to announce it to the world around you. And I think this sort of announcement should be happening or should have been done with all sorts of things, not just like skin illnesses. And I think they should be specific.
Okay. Like you should be telling me why you're unclean.
Like loose stool coming through. Loose stool. Like you're sort of in halitosis. Ooh. Halitosis. Yeah. And then the people know what they need to avoid. Yeah. And why. Yeah. Or if it's just an emotional thing, like, I'm a total jerk. I'm a jerk. I'm a mean guy. Then you know what their illness really is.
This is a great point, and I struggle with the modern interpretation of this. I think this is a nice thing people do. I understand why you do it. You go to a public space, but then you say, I'm not feeling good, mm-hmm. or like, I don't want to hug or high five or handshake or whatever, mm-hmm. so I'm not feeling well. But I have to say that I never know how to respond when that happens, because I'm always like, so
don't touch him. Just don't touch him.
I'm obviously not going to touch you, but like, then it's like, how close do I get to you? Like, I don't know. You've announced your uncleanness.
Yeah.
But you're present in the space that we collectively are in.
Yeah, it's not like your air just stays right here.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm like, you told me you weren't sick. And I don't want to be like, forget that, man. Let me kiss your cheek. Like, so I'm not, oh yeah, you're sick. Okay, I don't want to get sick. I'm not trying to like welcome that. Mm-hmm. But also, like, what am I going to make extra space when we talk? Like, do I not talk to you? Should we text? What do you want me to do with you in the space when you've announced you're sick?
Well, you stand off to the side a little bit, and then you talk in the same direction so that all of your air goes
shoulder to shoulder
together away from your lungs.
Turned.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I actually think about.
This is why I make sandwiches the way that I do. It's very thoughtful.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, you have come into the room and told me you're sick. And now I go, okay, so the only thing I know to do is continue normally. But you've said you're sick.
No.
And I don't know how else to respond to that.
You literally walk away.
And this is something I'm going to feel vulnerable and share with you right now. I'm not the best when people are sick.
This is the first I've heard of this.
I'm not the best one to be around because of just like this. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
If you're sick, I'm sorry. I usually
Are you though? Because you don't act like it.
I'm sorry. And that I don't want you to be sick.
I'm sorry I have to be around you. I
don't know what to do with myself when you tell me you're sick.
Yeah. No, I feel bad for you. Leviticus chapter 13 wraps up with instructions on how to clean your clothes as well that have been touched by disease.
Yeah.
Leviticus 14 continues on, and there's like, it's a little bit more about what to do, like the priest and whatever is kind of a general chapter.
Pretty ceremonial, this one. A couple of things, like it's a follow-up to the one before about like, hey, if you have a skin disease, a defiling skin disease that is then pronounced clean, how do you sort of welcome that person back to the community? Which I thought was kind of funny in that execution. For example, chapter 14, this is one of the things you're supposed to do. 7 times the priest shall sprinkle the one to be cleansed of the defiling disease and then pronounce them clean. What's he to sprinkle them with? You're asking, reasonably so. And that's in verse 6. He's to take 2 birds. One of the birds is to be killed over fresh water in a clay pot, and the other live bird is dipped in the blood of the dead bird together with cedar wood and hyssop. And a live wiggly bird is now covered in dead bird blood, and that's what you're supposed to sprinkle on a person who is now like clean. So this is a reality in ancient Israel that might have happened.
Do you think they sprinkled with the live bird?
Yeah, that's what it clearly says.
Like dip it and then let the wings kind of just flutter and then spray all the blood all over the place.
Wrestle it. So in ancient Israel, a very real experience on the street might be a perfectly normal looking person with a slightly reddish hue on their forehead going like unclean, unclean, and a person covered in dead bird blood going like, I'm back, baby! Clean! Clean! You're like, welcome back, Jeffrey!
It doesn't look like you're as clean as he is.
Get out of here, Mike! With your clean robe. Come here, you old bird blood. Get in here. Also, on 9, verse 9 of that chapter 14, on the 7th day, this is on their return to the community of people who don't have defiling skin diseases. On the 7th day, they must shave off all their hair. They must shave their head, their beard, their eyebrows, and the rest of their hair. They must wash their clothes and bathe themselves with water, and then they'll be clean. So this is another facet of the return. Again, you've got like what might be someone with a spot on their skin with a white hair coming out of it versus completely shaven, hairless individuals.
Welcome back.
Going like, I'm back, baby.
I feel like it's almost like when your dog like gets back from like a surgery or something, and then they have to like shave the dog, and the dog looks like an idiot because it got like a big old back shaved tattoo looking thing of stitches, and he just looks dumb. And then they put the cone of shame on him just to top it all off.
Yeah,
like you're not in a good place. You're a little sore, and then now you have this thing that makes you look like a dummy.
Right.
Sorry. You're clean, though.
This is a great example. Yeah, because then they're like, "Guess good news, you get to go home." You're like, "Oh, good."
Oh, looking like a moron? Great. Thanks.
Dog's like, "Great. That's where I want to be, is around everybody, all the neighborhood dogs that know me. Please send me back to there right now. That would be awesome."
Can we not have like a recovery period? Where I can wear the stupid thing that makes me look dumb, but I'm not around other people that are going to make fun of me.
Right. At this point, I'm not ready for the big farm in the sky, but is there maybe like a smaller ranch in the sky I can go to just briefly and then kind of come back normally if I'm going to carry on? My last thing was in verse 34, and this is where I close on this segment. When you enter the land of Canaan, which I'm giving you as your possession, and I put a spreading mold in a house in that land. That's God talking, and a spreading mold is being put in a house because, you can pretty definitively say that God is a fun guy.
I'm going to let that resonate. I want you to hear how nobody is laughing. It's such a stupid line.
Fun guy. Where's mold?
I liked the Message version. Says it says God spoke to Moses and Aaron, when you enter the land of Canaan, which I'm giving you as a possession, and I put a serious fungus in a house in the land of your possession, the householder is to go tell the priest, I have some kind of fungus in my house. Just like, okay.
I can't stress enough, the day of this priest is like, these two are they're really working on their marriage. We saw some really good breakthrough. That was great.
Awesome.
Somebody busts in the door. Some sort of fungus growing in my house.
While you're at it, let me drop trowel.
I think it started here, and now it's in the walls.
Not sure which came first. Also, I really got to say sorry for stealing some stuff. I got a bowl out back. Can you rip its liver lobe?
Get the fatty lobes out of these as soon as possible. It's like, I wanted to be a counselor. That's what Ithatar says. That's it. That's Leviticus 8 through 14. Big chunk there. A lot of people don't get in there with Leviticus. They're scared of it.
Not like us.
Not us. We got it all figured out.
I'll tell you a thing I learned since you asked.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious. Maybe it's coming up later, but like I'm curious. We have all these rules about like what to do for like mold and for like how to clean a shining spot on your forehead.
Yeah.
And something that's red, and how to kill things. There's nothing about termites though. There's like no bug infestation remediation out there.
Well, is there... Man.
At least not yet.
Well, I'm just wondering if it's like if cloth is forming a lot of the structures, if that's an issue.
I don't know. There's mold. There's got to have some wood out there. I'm just saying there's nothing about taking care of your home besides the mold. I think there had to be some bugs.
You'd think there'd have to be.
The priest probably has to come do the extermination. I mean, if there are rats in your home, you break the pots.
So many things the priest has to do.
At least they got fed.
Hey, I warmed up spaghetti in a Tupperware and it's all red now. Is this something I take to you, right?
That's unclean.
Priest?
It's unclean.
You're supposed to handle this? Got a stain in my... This is my better cloak.
The Tupperware is red.
So now it's good. To you? No. I'm just molds.
And
skin disease. Premarital counseling. I don't know how to be any clearer with you guys. What did I learn today? I mean, I really did like that strange fire story. I hadn't seen that in that way before. I think you should watch your alcohol intake when you're dealing with fire. I think that's smart. And maybe I'll just stick with that one for right now.
Watch your fire intake, or watch your alcohol intake when dealing with fire.
Yeah.
And watch your fire intake when
Watch
you're dealing with
fire
alcohol.
Deal with alcohol. It goes both ways. All right. Well, that's that for today. That's your cheat day Devos. Man, I mean, like, these are some souped up cheat day Devos. Not a lot of people have really dug in there for 7 chapters of Leviticus. But you just did.
You did today.
You just did.
You can tell your grandma.
Yeah.
You're still reading your Bible.
You could probably even, like, depending on your grandma, I hope she's super sweet, but maybe you could even be like, oh, when your grandma's like, oh, yeah, I don't see you in church like I used to. You can be like, oh, really? What's that time you did?
Just read the heck out of Leviticus.
Leviticus 8 through
Grams,
15.
If
like
that is your real name.
Like the middle part, Graham.
Suck it.
You even know what hyssop is? Do you?
Do you? Sprinkle you with blood.
Live bird.
My grandmas are dead, so I can't do that to them.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Happens.
We'll be back here with another Bible's Funny episode real soon, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Okay. Love you. Bye.